Google DeepMind has upgraded its music AI sandbox with Lyria 2, a powerful model generating professional grade, high fidelity music directly from text prompts. I tried to write a song once and I don't think it went very well, but now maybe I could actually take ideas in my head and turn them into songs with the new Lyria model from Google. Pretty cool.
Maybe, yeah, maybe you're their target market. As I was learning about this, I was thinking professional musicians have not been the most enthusiastic early adopters of AI, but maybe it's amateur musicians like yourself that will make good use of this type of technology.
It could be both. So Lyria is really targeting some professional musicians. They've got some real-time tools allowing blending of styles, editing. So especially, I don't know if you ever watched the Taylor Swift documentary, but it's really fascinating how she's writing songs like lay down a beat and she's kind of collaborating with somebody. Let's have a bass sound that sounds like this, some drums that sound like this, and a little bit more like that. And she's got a professional musician who can like put those things in there for her. But now I think a lot of this is when you're a solo artist and you want to have some work and iterate on something, it's like a creative partner. So really, I think it would be fun for the novice to be able to play with it, but also for musicians. I hope my kids who play instruments will maybe try it out so you can, just play with stuff and a little anything that shortens the time from idea to the execution of a creative idea that you can iterate on. I think it really helps that creative process. Very excited for that.
Yeah, I'm excited for that too. This is related to Taylor Swift, sort of pivoting off of the AI thing, but have you ever seen Ed Sheeran in concert?
I've not seen Ed Sheeran concert.
Ed Sheeran does that same thing that she does in her documentary live on stage for every concert that he does. So he literally will lay his own background track and then play to it live. So like every concert you're getting a new experience. And I saw him in concert and I was just like wowed by this process because how nervous do you have to be up there? And he's just like cool, calm, and collected. And he adds this and he adds that and all these different instruments. And that is definitely a level of talent that I do not have.
Yeah, it's a level of mastery of your craft that's pretty impressive.
I know, pretty incredible.
Well, I'm going to keep us moving forward with some more consumer AI announcements. We'll jump to Meta, who just unveiled a slew of AI updates at their very funnily named LlamaCon, named of course for their open source Llama series of models. But a couple new things here. They launched a standalone Meta AI assistant app. So now if you got ChatGPT on your phone, you got Claude on your phone, you can have Meta AI on your phone. Has previously been available in WhatsApp and Instagram and a variety of the different apps that Meta has. But now there is a Meta AI app you can download. Also integrated for those who have the Ray-Ban glasses, the Meta View app that was for the Ray-Bans and the Meta AI app now combined. So you now have only one app to get all your AI. And this was maybe the most interesting thing to me. They added a new Discover feature where users can view, like, comment, and share or remix AI prompts and responses from their friends. So again, kind of this, what would I do with it? What are people asking? Kind of like that trending topics in Twitter or whatever. But for AI queries, your friends have to, I think, opt into this for certain things. But what a fascinating angle on AI to have the friend shared social feed of AI prompts going in your AI assistant.
Yeah, I love this idea because I think, we've talked before about how the best way to learn AI is to use it, but I think there's a somewhat of a barrier to entry where people aren't sure exactly where to start or how to use it. And so I love this idea of like just see what your friends have done or see what other people have done and it can give you sort of get your creative juices flowing. One of those Google Canvas whisk things that image generation did the same thing where you could see what other people did. And I think that that just will collectively sort of lift how people are thinking about using these things just by getting ideas from other folks. And so I actually really like this feature a lot.
Yeah, I've not seen it in the text prompt version, like in the assistant kind of world. Sora had something like this, the OpenAI's video generation, where when you come into it, it shows you other outputs and the prompts. And of course, the most famous to start this way was Midjourney, where to use it, you had to log into a Discord server, which is just kind of a chat server, and you would get put into a channel and you'd have to put your prompt in the channel with other users. And while you were waiting for it to generate, you would just see other users' prompts and images being generated. And so it really created a community around. Oh, and then as you got out of the newbie section, you could get into channels on specific sci-fi, fantasy, whatever categories of image. So it helped, I thought, really spur the juices for what you might want to say and get over that cold start problem. Like, what the hell do I type into this box?
Yeah, I love that. Get out of the newbies section.
Get out of the newbie section. Well, OpenAI will shift to OpenAI, also getting out of the newbie section when it comes to shopping. So they have opened up an enhanced set of shopping capabilities in ChatGPT. I really like this. You can go into ChatGPT and try it out, but it will kind of now show images, show prices in different places you can purchase, show ratings and reviews. If you ask it, what's the best, I think the example is, what's the best espresso machine under $200? And it would show you a couple of different options, give you pros and cons. You could click on, look at the reviews and ratings of different machines. Then actually, one of the great things is now it's still ChatGPT. So you go, well, I'm more worried about this than that. This is my favorite kind of drink. Which one is better for making a flat white as opposed to just an espresso, whatever it might be that is your drink of choice. Really interesting though, the direct click to purchase like this, really getting into a much better shopping experience in ChatGPT. So I had fun playing with this.
That's interesting. I maybe had an opposite reaction. I have this, like, curmudgeon-y old lady reaction to stuff like this, which is, like, the entire, like, set of known information in the universe, and we're gonna use it to shop. That just really bugs me for some reason.
Commerce makes the world go round, Annie. We gotta find a way to find the right espresso machine for your house.
We have so many other amazing things we can do with AI besides learn how to shop, and, but I mean, it is true, obviously, like, it's useful for people to get information and have it link more directly to things, but the sort of I just feel like we all have too much stuff, and we could use more knowledge and less stuff.
Well, at least they integrated the Discover feed for what products other people are searching for. So when you open ChatGPT, it says, "Do you want a $500 espresso machine?" Because that's what a lot of people seem to be searching for. That we'll be really nervous when that comes out. This also, of course, putting ChatGPT a little more directly in the set of queries that Google might care about losing. Right, like one of the big things in for ChatGPT is it taking share from Google? Yes, but probably right now only on the kind of queries that you can't monetize anyway. Shopping queries, however, highly monetizable. And so this might be more of a real threat to the existing Google dominance with actually monetarily, not just traffic wise.
Well, and it's also really interesting that, like, there's, like, an advertising dilemma. OpenAI has said that they're not ranking information based on advertisements, but you have to imagine at some point there's gonna be a revenue optimizing push to do that, right? Where you do rank them based on who you get paid the most for and that type of thing, and then will that erode the consumer trust that people have in this system that today feels more unbiased? I think that'll be a very tricky line for them to walk.
Yes, although much easier in some ways for them to walk than a Google to walk back. I mean, it's much easier to not generate a large revenue stream and be profitable and choose not to walk down that path than it is to have the stream and eat it up with not allowing the advertising, the ranking. They could, of course, use affiliate links to get payments when they're referring people out without preferring one product over the other. But of course, to your point, as soon as you put a revenue maximizing AI against that, it's going to say, well, stop ranking the one that people actually rate the best and rank the one that pays you the most. And that's a dangerous road to come down in terms of trust of users in this.
Right, makes sense.
Visa and MasterCard coming out with AI-driven payment tools enabling autonomous, secure shopping by AI agents. So both kind of roughly putting out something that will allow a ChatGPT, a Claude, a Google Gemini to shop and buy on your behalf. I think the initial version being kind of store your credit card information and be able to like just click buy right in the app is the idea. But moving towards a full autonomous where you go, ChatGPT, I just want a $500 espresso machine. Just find me the best one and have it shipped to my house and walk away. And you just don't even need to know, like, the fact that it's a Breville or whatever, it doesn't matter to you. You just want it to your house. You don't have to look through the reviews and the ratings. Just trust it to shop on your own, maybe with a budget. That seems to be where they're headed. If you don't like the buying of stuff through ChatGPT, I can't imagine you like this making it even easier than the shopping features.
Yeah, I guess making the payment less full of friction is good, but I hope that the consumer is still in control because it's not too far of a leap to imagine that it's just like, whatever, connected to my Instagram feed, and it knows that I was watching this video with this content, and then it thought, "Well, I might as well buy her that thing, or I might as well do this, that, or the other thing." Because, yeah, I think that there's, again, too much stuff, not enough information sharing. Knowledge.
All right, knowledge sharing over product sharing. Annie's advice for the week. I like it. I'm going to move us to a little bit more technical stuff here. With Baidu unveiled aggressively priced updates to its Ernie AI models, significantly undercutting the prices of rivals like OpenAI, DeepSeek. Some of these models, the Ernie 4.5 Turbo, Ernie 1X Turbo, outperforming leading competitors on key benchmarks and dramatically reduced costs compared to, this is Ernie 4.5 Turbo is just 0.2% the cost of GPT 4.5 at an API level. So just reminds me again and again of the Chinese competitors coming in and going, we'll do it cheaper, like way cheaper and pretty good. It just seems like you can't keep an edge on the frontier, or if you do, staying on the very frontier is costing you a lot of extra dollars.
That's right. Cheap Ernie is cheaper and faster.
Now, is their next model going to be called Bert, though? That's the real question. Do we get Bert to
Ooh,
go with Ernie? I don't know. We'll have to
maybe.
see. Next up, Alibaba unveiling also Qwen 3, a suite of 8 open weight models with advanced hybrid thinking and agentic capabilities, kind of rivaling OpenAI's O1 and DeepSeek's best models, the R1 model. So again, an open weights model. So just eroding the idea that building a frontier model is going to be able to be, if somebody else is building it and selling it in an API super cheap, somebody else is open sourcing the weights for free. Sometimes it's Meta, their llama model is pretty good, but then sometimes these Chinese competitors out there, it really makes me wonder if there's going to be any value in being the economic value and being the developer of the frontier model, particularly as everybody seems to catch up like 3 months later for a tenth the cost. Not a great place.
Yeah, not a great place. I think it's also gonna be interesting to see, like, as we see more of this push for at least in the US, we're seeing this push for, like, a national strategy around AI. Is there gonna be backlash around using these models generally because they weren't developed in the United States? And so, will it how much will it matter if they're cheaper and faster if there's, like, a heavy push to not use them? We'll see where that goes.
The geopolitics of this all are very interesting, particularly with all the other geopolitics going on between US and China. Talking about frontier models, OpenAI rolled back an update to GPT-4o this week after it, and I'm going to quote Sam Altman here. He said the chatbot, quote, glazes too much. It just means it's a little too kind to you. When you say, I think this is a great idea. What do you think? It was, oh, you are brilliant, Jeff. He's actually, I think it's a terrible idea. Oh, you're totally right, Jeff. And so they found that it was too friendly and compromising and just agreed with whatever you said. And they rolled it back, is an interesting indication of the challenges of being on the frontier. Sometimes you get things a little wrong.
I absolutely loved this story for a couple of reasons. First of all, it gave me faith back in humanity a little bit that there was so much consumer pushback to say, like, I want more critical feedback. Stop being so darn nice to me because that is somewhat unexpected and surprising. Because for a hot minute, you would put a prompt in there and it would be like, that's a fascinating thought, even if it was like not fascinating at all, right? So people actually said, like, please don't tell me my thoughts are fascinating when they're really just not that fascinating. Please give me more useful feedback. So that I liked. The other thing that I think is like a good nugget in here for people who are concerned about AI becoming too powerful. Sam Altman was able to sort of roll this back and change his personality in relative short order, right? How long does it usually take to give feedback to a human on their personality and have them course correct? And so it really sort of goes to have some sort of demonstration of how much the people are still in charge of these things. The fact that Sam could just roll it back and say, we want a different personality on you. So that was interesting too.
Yeah, interesting that they were taking the feedback so seriously. But I love your point that like, what a great feedback for humanity. They're like, we just go. I want some tough feedback. Like, give me the tough love. Give me the tough love. I don't need the obsequious stuff. I just want I want the real honest truth. Give me the hard truths. That's what I come to the AI for. Makes me feel a little bit better about the future of humanity, maybe.
Totally.
Well, if you're a fan of AI for the future of humanity, you'll probably like this. President Trump signed an executive order to integrate AI literacy into the U.S. K-12 education system, including setting up a White House AI task force, including things like developing curricula, professional development for educators, and a presidential AI challenge for students. Also getting into the non-higher ed route, so public-private partnerships around things like apprenticeships and AI proofing the American workforce outside of just education system. I thought it was interesting. I don't know if much of it. I mean, the federal government doesn't have a lot to do with education really on any level by design, and even less under President Trump, who doesn't seem to think that they should have even the level of influence they do have. But I think good that we're pushing in this direction.
Yeah, I think this is something I also probably have mixed feelings about because I could not overstate how important I think this is for people to be educated on how to use AI and to sort of rethink how we educate young kids. Because for years, we've been teaching them to think like an Excel spreadsheet. And they probably don't need to do that anymore because now AI can do the Excel spreadsheet thinking, and now we need to think differently. So making that pivot, I think, is super critical. But the execution, we really need our best and brightest thinking about how to make that pivot. And so I hope that that's who's on this task force, the best and brightest.
Well, hope for the best and expect maybe a little bit less than that in terms of what comes out of this, as we do for pretty much any White House task force. Most of them do not end up being dramatic in their results, but good directionally good that I think we're working this way. But when we talk about our best and brightest, I'm going to take us to our last story from AI Radar. Researchers at UC San Diego made a groundbreaking discovery. A gene previously thought to be merely a biomarker for Alzheimer's disease seems to have a causal role in its progression. And the team was able to unravel the gene's unexpected functions and actually causing Alzheimer's through some AI analysis. And this, of course, when you can identify a gene that has a causal role, you can start to actually think about therapeutic treatments. And that's pretty exciting, especially for something like Alzheimer's. It's been kind of a mystery and a really scary thing for many people. So a little palate cleanser from geopolitics, US, China, White House executive orders to researchers using AI to actually try and treat some of the most pressing diseases that we face.
I love that story. That's a great one.